What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Everything Everyday channel hosted by Daryl Long. And today we're going to be talking about Tory Lanez, who has officially spoken out from prison. Now, um this is the very first time that we have heard from Tory Lanez, and he's claiming that there is new evidence that could impact his conviction in the Meg Thee Stallion case. Now, before anyone gets emotional, before anyone starts to take sides, this is not about defending Tory Lanez because I'm a staunch Meg Thee Stallion fan, actually, and I support her 1,000%. But this video is more about what Tory Lanez is saying, why he is saying it, and what this actually could mean legally for Meg Thee Stallion and for Tory Lanez. Without further ado, let's get directly into the video.
Tonight, rapper Tory Lanez breaking his silence in his first ever broadcast interview from behind bars since being found guilty of shooting Grammy winner Megan Thee Stallion in the foot outside a party in 2020.
I've never been violent towards a woman. I would never hit a woman, let alone shoot a woman.
Lanez, whose real name is Daystar Peterson, spoke to NBC News from California Men's Colony, a prison where he's 3 years into a 10-year sentence.
Whew, 3 years into a 10-year sentence is absolutely crazy. So in his recent interview from prison, Tory Lanez revealed what he is calling a new legal bombshell tied to his case. And according to Tory Lanez and his legal team, they are now focusing on a new piece of evidence where a missing bullet fragment evidence, this evidence that they believe was either mishandled or not fully accounted for during the original trial back in 2022. Now, Tory is suggesting that this missing evidence could potentially impact 1, the forensic narrative of the shooting, 2, the gun, how the gun was analyzed overall by both the defense and etc., and ultimately whether the conviction should stand or whether he should be freed. Now, to be clear, this does not mean his conviction has been overturned. Let me repeat this. Because they did this interview, because they allowed them to present this missing evidence and this appeal, this does not mean that his conviction has been overturned as of today. He is still serving his 10-year sentence, and the courts have already upheld his conviction on appeal. But Tory Lanez is signaling to the audiences that really support him that there may be another appeal or some legal challenges that, Meg Thee Stallion may be facing. So let's go back to the NBC interview so you guys can hear from Tory Lanez, and maybe we get more information about why he feels he deserves to be free, because I believe he did shoot Meg Thee Stallion. There isn't any proof that says otherwise. So let's go.
After being found guilty on 3 felony counts, including assault with a semi-automatic firearm.
There is definitely a very big misconception about me that seems to the public as I'm this monster. And I feel like I was catapulted into this poster child for the unprotection of Black women. And
as you guys can see, Tory Lanez has maintained his innocence. He is denying the shooting of Meg Thee Stallion, and quote, "I have never been violent towards a Black woman or any woman," quote. On social media, clips have circulated where Tory's continued to push his version of the events, claiming that the public has been misled about what really happened that night. Now, he also appeared by phone on the Sin Full podcast, or the Full Sin podcast, where he made another claim, a major claim, that his DNA was never found on the weapon that was used in the incident. That point has become one of the major cornerstones in his defense narrative. Let's go back to the video.
it's just so unlike me. And I've never really had a chance to express that. But you can look at my criminal record. I don't have one. I never had one. And I feel like, you know, that connotation that I would do anything of this monstrous proportion is just, it's completely incorrect and it's wrong.
Lanez,
as you guys can see, Tory isn't just talking to fans. He's talking to the public. He's talking to the media, and he's talking to potentially future, anybody that might sit in a jury on his court, his future court days. Right? Sorry for it's late, guys. It's almost 1 a.m. here. Every prison interview follows the same pattern. Tory denies the shooting. Tory claims misinformation, or he claims that the evidence in his case was mishandled. He frames himself as someone who has been wrongfully convicted. And whether you believe him or not, this is very strategic. He's keeping his case alive in the public, which matters when you're seeking a legal review, when you're seeking public sympathy or a reconsideration down the line, because he has 10 years to go. Now, again, I'm not going to spoil things, but Tory also talked about the prison stabbing that happened to him, where he was stabbed, I think 14 times. Let's go ahead and go back to the video because I want to be certain about that.
declined to testify during his 2022 trial. Do you regret not taking the stand?
I think if I would have taken the stand, the verdict would have definitely been very different.
The rapper's legal team filed an appeal, which was denied in November. But his team is continuing to fight, with plans to file multiple appeals next week, this time with the California Supreme Court, in one claiming newly discovered evidence that they weren't provided during Lanez's 2022 trial, including hundreds of pages of medical records for Megan Thee Stallion, whose real name is Megan Pete, which they allege raise questions about the fragments removed from her foot after surgery. His team argues that the fragments were not provided ahead of trial and that this was a violation of due process.
And we didn't have that chance. Or perhaps we could have questioned the doctors differently when they were on stand to impeach them, because it does look suspicious.
But in the appeal denied,
do you guys believe that this is a situation where the lawyers are being honest, like they have a right to appeal? Because in my opinion, I think the best thing Tory can do is just do his 10 years, right? I don't even believe he's going to serve the whole 10 years. He might serve, 6 or 7 on, and the rest will be wiped away for good behavior. But I just don't believe that he's going to serve the whole 10 years. I think that if there was any evidence that was going to if there was any evidence that was going to adjudicate him, it would have been in the public by now. But truthfully, there isn't any evidence that says that anybody else harmed Meg Thee Stallion that night. So we need him to provide evidence, not to say that the evidence that, you guys have was mishandled. No, we need to have more evidence proving your innocence. And I just don't have that right now. So I can't say that Tory is innocent as of right now. I'm going to stick to the facts. You have been convicted for shooting Meg Thee Stallion. And that's just what it is. So let's finish this interview and see what he got to say.
in November, the court did address the fragments, ruling that the surgeon's testimony was, quote, more than sufficient to prove great bodily injury on Pete.
Okay, so you guys see it right here for all you conspiracy theorists. They addressed the metal fragments in her foot, which is that was part of his appeal, that he said that the court never addressed it, but we find out that they actually did. And the testimony was more than sufficient to support the jury's finding that Daystar Peterson, also known as Tory Lanez, personally inflicted great bodily harm on Megan Pete, also known as Meg Thee Stallion. I mean, it's right there in the paperwork. So I feel like there should be no more conspiracies, no more attacking Meg Thee Stallion. There should be simply supporting her, because truthfully, she was shot. I mean, bullet fragments was pulled from her feet. At the end of the day, we got to have some public sympathy for Black women. I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm a son, I'm a brother, and I just can't imagine any of my family members going through this publicly and having to be publicly shamed and, you know, go through the situation where you have bloggers attacking her. So let's keep going to the video so we can get to the prison stabbing situation.
Proving something like this on appeal is tough.
This is a really, really difficult appellate argument for defendants to prove because they have to show if the evidence actually came into court, the jury would have found differently. It's an uphill battle, and it's something that often torpedoes any defense appellate argument.
The Los Angeles District Attorney's Office and representatives for Megan Thee Stallion have not responded to NBC News' request for comment.
I believe not only that I was wrongfully convicted, but the amount of new evidence that has emerged since that trial, I think, has been overwhelming.
What has life been like in prison for the last couple of years?
Truthfully, I've done my best to keep my head above water, but mentally, I've gone through trauma that I sometimes even struggle with because I've never imagined myself dealing with things that I would have to deal with. I've been stabbed 17 times. I almost lost my life.
If you could say something to make...
Hold on, before we get to that part, man, let's re-break this down. So we had to talk about the whole situation with the stabbing. In May 2025, Tory Lanez was stabbed, as he just said, 17 times by another inmate. The incident put Tory Lanez in a hospital. It raised concerns about inmate safety, specifically his safety, and it shifted part of the public conversation away from the trial itself and onto some type of sympathy. And truthfully, if anybody was stabbed, 17 times in anywhere, prison, no matter where, I would have sympathy for them. And I feel the same way in this situation. Tory Lanez's legal team has referenced this attack when arguing for his public safety, or his safety just generally. And maybe they're trying to see if maybe he can be relocated to a different, more safer facility. But again, that won't change his sentence. He'd just be relocated to somewhere safer. All right, so I'm gonna finish the video out and then we're gonna give our final thoughts.
Megan Thee Stallion today.
18 times. I almost lost my life.
If you could say something to Megan Thee Stallion today, what would it be?
I think that I wouldn't say something directly to her. I would like that moment to happen in person. We've both gone through a lot. There's this connotation that like I share this hatred for her, but I don't. I'm genuinely past that. I'm at a place of healing in my life. I'm at a place of taking accountability for the things that I did wrong. And when I talk about my case, I don't want it to be taken as me coming at her, because it's not that. I'm just asking for somebody in the system to look at my case and look at the evidence and ask if this was fair.
And with that, Chloe Malas joins us now on set. So, Chloe, Tory Lanez is also seeking a pardon from Governor Gavin Newsom?
That's right. His legal team has filed the necessary paperwork, and it is before the governor now. So they're seeking either a pardon where his criminal record will be wiped clean, he would be released from prison, or to have his sentence commuted, meaning that the time he has served is sufficient, and release him, but that doesn't change his criminal record. As for when this could happen, the governor typically does these twice a year, so this could happen before the new year.
All right. Chloe Malas for us. Chloe, thank you.
You know what, guys? At the end of the day, Tory Lanez is still incarcerated. He's still convicted, and he's still going to be fighting this case for years to come. This latest prison interview doesn't prove his innocence at all, but it does tell us one thing clearly. He does not mean to just go down without a fight. He's not done legally or publicly speaking about his belief that he's innocent and that he has been tried unfairly. Whether or not the courts respond to these claims is a completely different story. Now, with that being said, guys, I do want to hear from you guys. Do you guys think that Tory Lanez has a legitimate legal argument, or is this just another attempt to rewrite the narrative to make himself look innocent and make Megan Thee Stallion look bad? Please drop your comments in the comment section below. Like the video. Please subscribe to the channel. And as always, this is Everything Every Day with Daryl Long. I will catch you on the next video. Peace.